In Canvas, you are able to set up an assignment and allow the students to peer review each other's work. We will cover how you can do this, what does it look like, and what are some of the caveats for this system. So again, you would start to create your assignment as normally. You would provide a name, instructions, of course. I would highly advise you to provide some information in the prompt about the fact that they are expected to provide a peer review and by which time they should do so. Of course, we set up all the points, the submission type. Of course, we need to submit through Canvas so that the students have access to the documents to review them. We can limit the submission attempts. We can turn on plagiarism review. But as we approach the portion where we set up the due dates for the assignment, we have a peer review section. This is how you turn on peer reviews. So as soon as you click to the left of require peer reviews, you will be able to see all the different options available for the peer reviews. So once we click this, we get some options. We can choose to manually assign peer reviews or automatically assign peer reviews. If we do it manually, then we as the instructor have to go in once people have been submitting work to actually identify which work is being reviewed by which student. We have to go in and do all of that. Or we can have it set up to automatically assign peer reviews. We can put in how many reviews each student should be getting. We can put in that they're getting 2 or 3 or just 1. We can also specify a date. If we do not specify a date, it will take whatever the due date of the assignment is, and at that time, once the due date and time has passed, immediately it will assign the peer reviews. We're going to leave it manually because I have an example to show you what it looks like automatic. And also we get to choose if we want the peer reviews to be anonymous. Now, keep in mind that if you turn this on, which is great, you should also advise the students not to put their name on the document that they are submitting to the assignment, because this will not obscure anything inside the document that the student have submitted. So if the student put their name at the top of the first page of the document, then of course the other student will be able to see that. All this hides is the portion in Canvas that associates the file with a particular student. So keep that in mind if you're going to use this. Then of course, then you should set up the due dates and availability dates as you normally would for any assignment. When you are happy, you click save and publish. So this time we are going to do manual assign so that you can see what that looks like. So when we're doing manual assignment, the way you access that feature is by going and looking at the assignment itself, where we see the prompt, the dates, all that information. And on the right hand side, where we see speed grader normally, we now also see peer reviews. When we click that, then we get to see all the students, and we get under each student, we get a button saying give CSUN demo fac 01 another submission to assess. And here is where we can choose which student submission they're meant to assess. Keep in mind, you can do with manual, you can do this before they even submit any work. But there is, of course, a downside with this, because you don't know if that student will not submit anything for the assignment, resulting in the other student not having anything to assess. So keep that in mind if you are doing manual assignment of peer reviews ahead of time before they've submitted, that you might need to go in and also make sure that they actually have something to assess. Right now, the name of student number 2, it has an exclamation mark because this student has not submitted anything. On the right hand side, however, despite us setting it up as a manual peer review, you always still have the ability to automatically assign reviews with one click of a button from this right hand side section. So over here in the section that says automatically assign reviews, you can specify how many reviews per user each user should get, then click the button assign peer reviews. And then Canvas will do the work with existing submissions. So this is a button that works great once the students have submitted work. This button does not do anything if the students have not yet submitted work, because the automatic system only works with existing submissions. So this is what it looks like for a manual setup. However, I have an assignment with automatic peer reviews where students have already submitted, and this assignment is closed. So again, when I'm looking at the assignment where I see the prompt of the assignment, on the right hand side I get speed grader, but I also get peer reviews, just like with the manual one. When I click that, I now can see that there are students here with reviews set up, and they have not done the peer reviews. On the right hand side, I still have the ability to automatically assign reviews if I need to, but they were already set up. Notice that only student 1 and student 4 submitted, and therefore only they get peer reviews. However, if you would like students to get the opportunity to work on peer reviews even though they have not submitted anything, you can do so by clicking give the name of the student another submission to assess, and then you can choose one of the existing students who submitted, and then that student's work will be assigned to student number 2. Though if you want the students to assess someone other, you can only do this manually. If you want the students to have something to peer review after the fact that they have not submitted, then you have to do this manually. The automatic system will not give them a peer review to assess if they did not submit work. This is a great page to come to even if you have set up automatic peer reviews, to double check that everyone has a submission assigned that should have a submission assigned to them. And then how does this look from the student's point of view? So let's go in as student 1 and go look at the submission of student 4. So we are currently looking at student 1 that already submitted the work, and we can see they are on assignment number 2. On the right hand side, it says that they submitted the work. They can see the submission details. They can see the name of the file. And right below that, they can see that they've been assigned a peer review for student number 4. When they click the name of the student, they can click over here, view feedback, to see the document inside Canvas, or they can click sample essay, the title of the document, to download it and view it on their computer. If we click view feedback, we can see the full feedback options inside of Canvas, and on the top hand side we can click the arrow that's pointing both top and bottom, and that will put in full screen for the students to use all the annotation tools available for a file in Canvas. We can exit this by clicking the arrows that are pointing to each other on the top right corner. And of course, the students, instead of providing comments here on the document itself, they can put in comments right here in the add a comment, and then they can save. They can put in several comments. So now let's look at, again, this from the point of view of the faculty member. So when we go back to the faculty member view, we can see that student 1 has reviewed student 4. They have a check mark to the left of the student's name, meaning that the student 1 has completed their peer review. Now, how do we see this peer review? We can click the name of that student, and on the right hand side we'll be able to see the comments, and if they had left any highlights or any annotations on top of this document, we'd be able to see that as well by clicking view feedback. Now, when we are looking at the speed grader, so we're looking at assignment number 2, and we go into the speed grader, there is one caveat, one huge caveat that I have to mention about the peer reviews. So when we're looking at student 1, I have no indication from the speed grader itself that the student has actually completed their peer review. I can see it on the peer review page. I can also see it if I go to student number 4 and they left the comment or they left annotations. I'd be able to see that on the submission for student number 4. But for when I look at student number 1 in the speed grader, I have no indication that they completed the peer review. The easiest place to see this is to go to the assignment itself, click peer reviews, and then see the check mark. And of course, I can open that and see what was the exact feedback that student number 1 provided. The other major feedback, caveat with these peer reviews is that you can set a due date and an end date for the assignment itself, but you do not have a due date for the peer review. So the peer review process, especially with automatic peer reviews, often starts after the due date has passed, but you do not have a second due date you can establish for the peer reviews, which is why it's a great idea to put that in the prompt for the assignment if you have a due date in mind for when they should be completing their peer reviews. So the major 2 caveats is that the easiest way to tell if a student has completed peer reviews is to actually click peer reviews from the assignment page, not from the speed grader itself. And the second caveat is that you cannot set a due date for the peer reviews themselves inside of Canvas. You can put it as part of the instructions, as we did with this other assignment that we created where we're manually assigning peer reviews. You can put it in the prompt so that the students are aware, but there is no way to set that up in Canvas and have Canvas close peer reviews. Past a certain point, they will close whenever the course ends. So those are the 2 major caveats for the peer review.